Let me ask you something. Have you ever watched a belly dancer move and thought, how do they do that? That effortless grace or expert fluidity, that feeling like they're not just performing the music, but they are the music. The truth is, belly dance, or any dance for that matter, isn't just a set of steps. It's a language, a conversation between sensation, rhythm, and story. And like any language, you can learn it. Yes, you. Even if you think you're too uncoordinated, or you're too old, or you're too big, or too small, or too late, or too lost, you have the ability to learn. And that's what makes us human and wonderful. My name is Tamara Drossard. I'm a professional dancer and embodiment educator, and I'm here to help you move and dance smarter, easier, deeper, and more like you. In this video, I'm going to break down how to learn belly dance. Not the hard way, the boring way, but a more sensational way. So let's get into it. In general, there are two paths to learning belly dance or any type of dance. One approach is bottom up, and the other approach is top down. Let's explore the bottom up approach, which is kind of the old-fashioned way to learn anything. Is you just learn by doing it. You just do it, you dance. And this is how most people from the culture learn how to dance, is at weddings, birthday parties, or in your kitchen with your auntie blasting Feyruz. You just absorb it like through osmosis, like you're breathing from the people around you. No mirrors, no critiquing, just pure vibes and repetition and learning through watching and doing and being. Just finding a sense of rhythm in your being, in your bones. And this way is magical, it's organic. And also for many of us, it's simply not accessible. We don't live in the culture, or we don't have access to these kinds of parties. Chances are, if you're watching this, you didn't grow up in the culture, and maybe you're learning solo in your living room off of YouTube. And that's okay, because there is another way to learn, which is a more structured way, a top-down approach. It's more conscious and deliberate and focused. And it's really about how you practice that makes a difference. Let's break it all down. In general, there are three keys to effective dance practice. There's the frequency, intensity, and type of practice. First of all, frequency. How often are you dancing? Are you dancing once a week, every day? A small daily practice, just dancing every day for 10 minutes, can transform you far more than one single 90-minute class once a week. How about the intensity of your practice? What's the quality of your focus? Are you checking out all the time, or are you really sharpening your attention and tuning in? Are you going through the motions and kind of tired and superficially doing the movement? Or are you really doing your best to learn and embody the movement? And lastly, what type of practice? What are you actually working on in your dance practice? There are generally three main areas a dancer can train. First is choreography, the sequence or steps, or kind of the what you do when you dance. You step right, left, right, left, roll up. This is very commonly taught in most all dance classes. You will learn some kind of choreography. The second type of practice we can do is technique, or improving how we dance, controlling the precision or the timing or the coordination of a movement. And third is the expression, the who, or behind your dance, the artistry, the confidence, and the creative choices behind your dance. the most powerful dancers I know, they're not the ones with the fanciest, most impressive footwork. They're the ones who know how to feel and mean what they say in every movement. Next, I'll share my 5-step method for how I teach and learn belly dance. This is the method that I use in all of my classes. It's not just about doing the moves or performing sequences and steps. It's about really deeply understanding the movement. And it begins, first of all, the first step is awareness. Where does the movement come from? Does the movement start from the feet or start from the hips or start with the eyes? Without this awareness, you're just kind of superficially copying shapes without learning a deep sense of where the movement comes from within yourself. The second step to learning is differentiation, or how do you move one part separately from the rest? For example, let's take a hip drop. In this hip drop, if it's your first time, many students, if it's their first time learning how to do a hip drop, you'll chunk your whole half of your body trying to find where the movement comes from, when really it's just this one muscle that moves up and down, your oblique muscle. So the second skill is really how to refine and deeply articulate your your muscles. And a lot of people think this, oh, belly dance is so hard. This is the hardest part about learning belly dance is I can't separate my top half from my bottom half, or I can't move just that one part. And I'd like to say to that, the people who stick with belly dance and continue to learn it find the challenge exciting. It's fun. It is so much fun learning how to move one part separately from the other. And we all have to go through this process of spending time in the dark, this place of not knowing, or we're being really bad at something and just kind of figuring it out on our own. But over time, you'd be surprised really how quickly your body learns. If you do this movement every single day, you'll get better and better every day. There's a little bit every day adds up to a lot. So the second step in this process is learning differentiation, this process of getting more efficient and more precise in how you move. And the third skill we practice in my classes is rhythm. So can you do this movement, this up and down movement, with different time signatures? We could do it slow, half time, or on time, or double time, really fast. So for example, this movement can be done very slow. If I count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 counts. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Or even faster, 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. And having all of these options for rhythm makes us a more capable and more artistic dancer. And the fourth step, the fourth principle in this method I teach is coordination. So once we learn where does this movement come from, how do we differentiate one part separately from the whole? How do we find rhythm there? Then we can learn how to coordinate this into a whole, like a whole movement. So now we can layer it with steps and arms. So learning coordination is how can we layer this one movement on the whole dancing step? How can this movement play together with other movements? And lastly, number 5 is integration. And this is where the magic happens, where your technique kind of disappears into artistry. It means you're not doing the movement anymore. You become the movement, you embody the movement, you are present and expressive and free as you dance. The movement becomes like second nature to you. So that's in a nutshell, that's a 5-step process for learning how to belly dance is learning awareness, where the movement comes from, differentiation, how to move one part separately from the whole. Third, rhythm, how can I embody different rhythm and time signatures? And then third is how can I coordinate this into a whole movement? And then lastly, how can I integrate this into a form of an expression? After teaching hundreds of different students over several years how to learn belly dance, I've noticed a few things that hold some students back. And I've noticed one of the biggest obstacles to learning belly dance isn't the capability of your body, it's you doubting yourself. It's the shame you have around how you move, or your perfectionism, wanting everything to be perfect, or just being afraid of being seen, which are all human things. And if that's you, I'd like you to know that you are already a dancer. You already know how to dance. We all spend several years of our lives learning how to move, how to walk. If this is you, first of all, no shame. I'm on team no shame, no judgment of where you're at. And I'd like you to know that dancing is in your nature, that we are all born knowing how to dance. We are rhythm ourselves. We have rhythm in our footsteps, the way we walk, rhythm in our heartbeat, rhythm in our breath in our lungs. But not only that, before us humans had verbal language, we communicated through movement and through gesture. And we danced, and dancing is simply in our nature. Babies know how to dance, they move and groove before they learn how to talk. A 1-year-old baby dances, and most of us are taught not to dance over the course of our lives. We're, told to, conform to different ways of moving, and maybe felt shame for being uncoordinated or moving differently. And I think it's tragic that a lot of us shut down this possibility of learning dance, and we tell ourselves, oh, I'm not a dancer, or I'm not coordinated. And that just, it's just simply not true, because dance and coordination is a learnable, trainable skill, just like learning how to draw, learning how to speak a new language, learning how to dance is another language. And oftentimes we try to, you know, quote, we go from barely even speaking to wanting to write or speak like Shakespeare. And we put these super high expectations on ourselves that we just simply can't meet. And when you're learning dance, you have to be okay with making mistakes, and it's okay to scribble for a long time, because you first learn how to scribble and then you learn how to draw straight lines and then you draw circles and squares and curvy lines, and then you can draw more and more sophisticated things. But don't expect to be a master dancer overnight, because it just takes time. So here's my advice is be patient with yourself. Trust the learning process. Be loving and accepting and forgiving of yourself. You'll never be done. You'll never master it. There will always be more to learn and improve. And that's the real beauty of it, because there's always more nuance, more freedom, and more joy to discover with dance. So now I want to ask you, what kind of dancer do you want to become? Not just how it looks, but how it feels. Do you crave being stronger, more sensual, or more creative, more confident? What kind of dance practice or life are you ready to build to support those desires? And if you would like support in learning and practicing belly dance in a very soulful, embodied way, I've got classes to help you guide you through this whole process of learning in great detail. Click the link below for lessons and challenges and programs to help you become the dancer you already are. Just more aware, more capable, more you. Thank you so much.